salaries, and in the other film, My Son, What Have You Done, I simply had a goal, make a film for very little money, but with the best of the actors, almost like a manifesto. So that's a different sort of ball game. Here we are in a much larger production with much more money involved, and I'm proud that I delivered it under budget. It doesn't happen very often, but I looked very much after the money, and I wanted to make sure that it stays within the possibilities of profitability. It's a big issue, and we should not lose it out of mind. And it is a film for audiences. It's not for Nicolas Cage or for me. It's not a private affair. So our stakes were different and they were higher. And a challenge which was very good to accept, and I think we both enjoyed it. And I can only say, whatever was in me, and I suspect whatever was in Nicolas, we gave it all into that film.
Another thing that was challenging for me was simply that I hadn't had a drink in 5 years, so I was completely sober. And unlike leaving Las Vegas, where I was maybe having a drink here and there with my drinking coach to find certain innuendos into drinking, this one was completely, yeah, I hired a guy named Tony Dingman who was a poet who was also a drunk. And I said, what do you think of this scene? He'd give me like a little shot of whiskey, or this scene he thought Sambuca. And anyway, the story is, that was more of a photorealistic kind of performance, where this one I call my impressionistic performance. I'm looking at a landscape of something that happened 25 years ago, may or may not have happened in a small amount, and I thought, well, how am I going to recreate that and make that real? So I had to filter it through my sober mind and my imagination and recall it. And that's why I was quite scared to do the movie. I didn't know if I'd be able to really get there and make it real for the audiences because I was totally dry.
It's just very evident in the way you hold yourself.
Yeah, that's something that was exciting for me. Was any kind of opportunity to transform yourself as an actor, take it. And I looked in the script for the physicality, what could I do? And there was this thing about his back, and I thought, well, maybe that would transform my walk, or the way I could hold my shoulder and always be aware of the pain. And of course, that was the gateway to his addiction to painkillers and whatnot. But so, and then also the landscape of the drugs. What would the coke do? What would the heroin do? And how could I graph that? So the coke would make me talk faster, and if he hadn't slept for 3 days, then the voice would start to go up in there. Because sometimes people that are on coke and don't sleep for 3 days start talking like that.
And just my last question, I'll throw it over to you guys. But with the script, the script was done by a screenwriter who's worked with Stephen Boschko for L.A. Law and NYPD Blues. How much of it did you deviate from? It sounded like you improv quite a bit.
Not just pure improvisation. It was clear to me that I needed to change the beginning and the end. It was quite different, and I wanted to add something more of substance for the relationship between Frankie and Terence. So I put in the sequence with a story about the silver spoon in the pirate treasure. The iguanas, of course, that's my stuff, and I filmed it even myself. And I love to do things like that. So yes, but those were the predetermined sort of changes. But in some instances, I knew there was something much more in the scene than just the mere dialogue. We discussed it very briefly, and I had the feeling Nicolas had to go for the bliss of evil. Go for it. Turn the pig loose. But of course, that's a literal translation from the Bavarian saying. It sounds much better in Bavarian dialect. And I trusted completely in Nicolas Cage, and he would go to extremes that I didn't expect, and it was just wonderful to see that. the scene with the old ladies, for example, in the
That scene actually
was not, the end of it was not scripted.
Well, the scene, when I first got the script, I was in Australia making a movie called Knowing, and I was reading that scene with we're cutting off the woman's oxygen supply, and I thought, well, what can I say here that might make it relevant? What is that dirty little secret that no family member really wants to admit? You know, when loved ones are in the hospital, and what would a guy on crack actually say about it? And so a lot of that was just little thoughts that I had in Australia, and then that other bit about you're the reason this country's going down the drain. I don't know where that came from. That just came out. And I think that was in keeping with the thing we were talking about earlier with jazz, you know?